Hello, we're about to do a video today. It's going to be pretty lengthy about the poison hemlock. But while I'm right here crossing the field, I wanted to show you this is the Queen Anne's lace. This is the plant that's harmless. This is the plant that is safe, but it looks like the poison hemlock. Now, one of the subscribers on my page told me that the stalk is fuzzy, and that's one of the ways you can tell the difference. So it hasn't bloomed yet, and I see several more about to come up. It's also on a single stalk, whereas the top of the hemlock spreads out on little mini stalks. So we're going to go up here. As you can see, it is a wild and overgrown area. It's the Old Petersburg Elementary School. I wish it was an emergency hospital, but here in this little town that is got an aging population. So here we are in front of the hemlock. Now, I wanted to show you from a distance because I've already done the video showing you up close. But the reason, and I've got my handy dandy tripod so I don't mess stuff up with my trimmers. I'm gonna get in a little bit closer for y'all to see. Now it looks pretty. It looks harmless. It's pretty. It's growing in among this other stuff. It looks safe enough, but I am gonna piece this video together with these pieces of information that I have found because it's quite terrifying. Now let's start with the mildest effects that it can cause. Okay, it causes a type of rash, a toxic contact dermatitis, that when you touch it, it is a red inflamed rash that will spread over the skin. Now, some people will experience it greater than others. That is why with any wild plant really, or any plant in particular, there's people that are allergic to strawberries or tomatoes. Well, there's a possibility for an allergic reaction to anything. So the other concern is, and on my way up here, there was a family with small children sitting on the porch, so I gave them a brief little quick lesson on this. Apparently the plant has very thick stalks here, and the stalks are hollow, and children like to pick those up and pretend that they're whistles. So that is how children, especially in the past, have been poisoned from this plant. Now, kids today, they don't do that. They stay inside, they watch TV, or they got cell phones that they play games on. Now, the other thing is that the plant does need to be eradicated. If it's in an area that is populated by people. And see, this is where our knowledge has been lost. People used to know this stuff. So you knew not to touch it. You knew to cut it down at a certain time and to dispose of it. Well, if you are going to do that, make sure you are completely covered. You have eye protection, a mask, gloves, and you actually have to remove the soil around the plant because apparently the seeds stay down in the soil and the oil that is on the plant that is toxic stays in the soil. So you never burn it because the smoke can also trigger allergic reactions. It says that you can remove a small patch by digging up and making sure to remove the taproot and the soil around it. Let's see, here we go. You can also get that contact dermatitis by, the plant blooms during the hot summer, and so you're sweating. Well, that sweat can conduct the chemicals into your skin quicker and cause a toxic reaction. It says all parts of the plant are deadly. Eating a small leaf of this plant can kill an adult within 3 hours, and there are no known antidotes to this poison. Now, the poison attacks the central nervous system, causes severe seizures and convulsions. It also acts like curare, that it causes a muscular paralysis and paralysis of the respiratory muscles, causing death from oxygen deprivation. For an adult, ingestion of more than 0.1 gram of this can be fatal. So this is why I wanted to bring you this plant to educate you on. And it's just as important educating you about these toxic plants. Now, there are some toxic plants that small bits of it, they call it macro dosing, such as digitalis and foxglove, can create healing and beneficial effects. This is not one of those plants. So when there is a plant that has such extreme toxicity, then it makes it better for you to be aware of it, especially when it looks like a Queen Anne's lace or another plant that is common and commonly known to be safe. Now, when I say this, and someone misinterpreted me the other day, because when I speak, I assume that the people that are listening or reading the things that I post already have a base of knowledge and understand the inferences of what I say. I've got amazingly smart, brilliant, borderline genius, if not genius, people who subscribe to my channel. I am continually just impressed and enthralled by the fact that you people contribute to my page and to me by your knowledge. So I want to be specific about a word called toxicity. Toxic has a variable scale of what that means. Something can be mildly toxic, or something can be fatally toxic. So I tend to concentrate on toxic being a generalized term to say warning, warning, don't touch this, don't mess with this, educate yourself before you get involved. Because, for example, we've got poison ivy growing all out here, and you notice I've got sleeves on, folks. I'm not taking any chances. Plus I got ate up by mosquitoes the other day. I got bit on my fingertip. Can y'all believe that? I've never been bitten on my fingertip, but these are hungry little jokers out here. So out here in the ground is poison ivy and poison oak, and some people are highly allergic to Virginia creeper as well. So those things don't cause death, though. Those things cause an irritation that is bothersome, that you can get sick from, especially secondary infections from skin breakage. But that's mildly toxic. This plant right here is deadly toxic. One small leaf can kill someone. Now, this is the plant of historic writings where you always heard someone was poisoned with hemlock. It's not the conifer, it's not the evergreen tree, it is this plant right here. Now the plant likes kind of damp feet. Everywhere I noticed it today, it was the feet part of the plant was wet, shady, or boggy. So there's that. It grew out in the middle of a couple of fields that I passed by. But here is a small plant of bloom, about to bloom. And then here are the larger blooms. But one small little piece of this plant will kill an adult within 15 minutes. So I did read that the only way to definitely get rid of it, there's two ways. Extremely toxic, strong chemicals and goats. Goats can eat the plant with no problem. There's many poisonous plants that goats can eat. So there are many cities that are employing goats, or rather they're farmers that caretake them. They're buying goats and fencing off areas like this to eradicate the weed. So I will again be attaching many pieces of information to this video, and also yeah, that's it. I'm sorry I got distracted. I thought I saw a dog. Y'all know how I get. If I see a dog, I'm like, ooh, doggy. Now back to focus, Tanya. Okay, so this plant is highly toxic. Please be careful around it. If you love to gather Queen Anne's lace, be careful. Make sure you're gathering the correct plant. Now about that stem, let me mention that. My subscriber told me about the Queen Anne's lace stem is fuzzy. Well, you see, and I'm not touching it. You see, that's not fuzzy. That is a smooth stem. And right over there, you see how large it gets? These are very large stalks in here. So, this time I'm not going to end with my Eat the Wild Things. This time I'm going to end with, please educate yourself about all wild plants, their benefits and their hazards. And then you arm yourself with knowledge to utilize these plants for the betterment of you and your health and your life. So until next time, have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend.